everyone, I'm glad to see you again. I hope you guys are doing well. Today I want to share with you about principles and procedures in materials development. So we go to the introduction first. Materials are part of the whole context of language learning. They can support teachers and students in the teaching and learning activities. The content of material is well structured with a graded sequence. Materials also offer critical thinking, life skills, cross-cultural understanding, and many more. Here are some fundamental issues in the material development because of the parameters of language teaching methodology. So, in the next slide, here is the table with two columns. The first column in my left side, the language teaching is more focused to the teacher-centered, where students just only as the receiver information from their teacher, and they're more focused to the rules or form of a language and the accuracy and correctness in the grammatical form. And they also more focused to the learner's cognitive or learner's intellectual. And in my right side, the second column, language teaching is more focused to the student-centered, where students should perform more than their teacher. Students should show their ability, their skill in using the target language to the others. In the communication, students should be more innovative and creative. Before we go to the further discussion, here are some proposals by Nation Newton about an ideal language course. There are four major kinds of activity that we should consider. The first one, meaning-focused input. In here, the course should include authentic tests with a wide range interesting topic based on the learner's need, learner's interest, learner's age. And the second one, meaning-focused output. The course should include or should give learners opportunities to perform their target language. It can from role plays, drama, oral presentations, creative writing, and many more. The third one, deliberate learning. In here, a course should include particular aspects of language like intensive practice of phonology and grammar, intentional vocabulary learning, and etc. The last one, the development of fluency. In here, the course should give learners ability on how to deal the language in the real life. It can be from extensive reading activities, script writing, and many more. So, we move to the next slide about principles for materials design by applied linguists and by writer of materials. So we have two sides of principles for material design. We go to the by applied linguists first. So in applied linguists, according to the Alice principles, there are 10 principles that we should consider in materials development. Material develop both a rich repertoire of formulaic expression and a rule-based competence. Material should focus on meaning and on the form. Material should develop implicit and explicit knowledge of the second language. Material should involve the learner's built-in syllabus. Material should require extensive second language input. Material should require opportunities for output. To interact in the second language is the central to developing second language proficiency. And material should involve individuals different learners. And in assessing learners' second language proficiency, it should be examined free and controlled production. Like this principle is already adopted by the New Zealand Ministry of Education in the secondary level. The next slide, another one, based on the nations, there are 15 principles that we should consider from in materials development. So, a language course should consider the learner's needs, interests, the teaching condition, and the times, resource, and resource. A language course should cover useful language items, skills, and strategies. A language course should focus on the generalizable features of the language. A language course should provide activities to increase the fluency of the language knowledge, both in receptively and productively way. And a language course should provide the items that frequently appear in the language, so that the learners will get best return in their learning. A language course should be sequenced so that it will give a positive effect in the learning. A language course should train the learners in how to learn a language and how to monitor their learning of the language. And a language course should include a balance of meaning-focused input, form-focused instruction, meaning-focused output, and fluency activities. A language course should be substantial quantities of interesting, comprehensible activity in both listening and reading. A language course should focus in the form instruction in the vocabulary, grammar, and discourse area. The next slide is the continue from the previous slide. Learners should give opportunities to take challenge to the items that they want to perform, that they want to challenge, or that they want to practice. And learners should be interested and excited about learning the language, and learners should frequently use and focus on the second language. And learners should be pushed to produce the language in both speaking and writing over a range of discourse types. And learners should be process the items to be learned as deeply as possible. Here is the third one according to the Tomlinson. There are 16 lists of principles of second language acquisition in materials development. The first one, materials should achieve impact. Materials should help learners. Materials should not be difficult, and materials should develop learners' confidence. Materials should perceive as relevant and useful by learners. Materials should require and facilitate learners' self-investment. Learners should be ready to acquire the points being taught. Materials should exposing learners to language in authentic use. Learners should be drawn to linguistic features of the topic. And materials should provide learners with opportunity to use the target language to achieve communicative purposes. Materials should provide positive effect of instruction. Materials should involve learners differ in learning style, or learners' effective attitudes, or learners' interest. Materials should permitting a silent period at the beginning of instruction. And materials should maximize learner potential and not too much rely on the control practice. And materials should provide opportunities for outcome of the students. Sorry. And we move to the proposed list of principles from the writers of the materials. Based on the James Bell and Roger Jower, they propose 11 principles of how to write a materials. So the first one, teachers need flexibility in course book to select and rearrange activities. So materials should be flexible to the teachers, and the text of the material should be authentic, and the content should be engaging. The language should be natural. The grammar should be treated inductively. In the material should be emphasis of review. Practice should be personalized. Skills should be integrated. Materials approaches should be balanced, and students should be helped to learn how to learn. And material should be professional respect. So move to the next one. According to the Maley and he proposed a similar set of criteria for effective materials. They are intrinsic interest, so materials should be interest to learn. Engagement for leading to flow, so the learning activities should be engaged the students unconsciously way, and the material should deliver from the head to heart, so learners should perform from their skills and also from their by affecting their emotional. And material should be flexible so that the learner the teachers and the students can adapt to the materials. And the materials should be open-ended. It means that in the learning activities, teachers should provide careers learning activities so that it will increase the learner's curiosity in learning, and it will have more discussion in the learning activities. And non-triviality in the materials, and materials should be relevant based on the learner's experience. And material should be variety. Material should be creativity also. So the learning activity should be more creative. It can become from drama, art, or music, and etc. And material should be economy and or elegance. So the simple material is the best for the learners sometimes. So here an alternative approach from Jill Hatfield. She identifies three main sets of consideration in materials development. The first one, framing principles. It is based on her personal experience about overarching principles. In here we can see that materials should be interesting, engaging, motivating, and involving. So if the materials is interesting, it will engage the learners to learn. And the language of the material should be meaningful, natural, and useful for the learners and also to the teachers. The progression with small steps. The language syllabus should include function fit with grammar. It should be both formulaic and rule-based. The receptive skill activities should include reading and listening and analysis and more global understanding in the material. The productive skill activities should communicative, meaningful, and student-centered. And the material focus on form or grammar should involve the student's understanding. And the language practice activities should communicative, meaningful, and student-centered. And materials should be flexible because it is important to students and also to the teachers. The syllabus and the last one, the syllabus should have linguistic and non-linguistic form. And the second, the core energies. It is about the instincts from the writer about how she or he designed the materials, the learning activities in creative and innovative way. And the third one is basic frameworks. It is about response on how the writer responds to some questions that he or she made for himself in subconsciously or consciously way to analyze what materials to analyze the material development that she do. Example like is this the best way in is the material already achieving the aims, or is this the best way in dealing the aim of the materials, and so on. So it basically it's just like a writer's questions to him or herself to know whether the material is good or not to provide in the classroom. So the summary from the principles materials development. And the principles in materials development were designed by a plain linguist and by writers of the materials as the guiding for guiding us as the teacher to design a well-structured materials in teaching and learning process. So we should consider the principle in designing the materials. And we move to the procedures materials development. And the first one is the macro level processes. In here we will more focus to the design and overall framework. We should deciding on the general approach. After that, the different elements to be covered and the proportion that we will given to the materials. It can include like pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, the function of the language, the four skills: reading, writing, listening, speaking, the genres or the text types, and the critical thinking, life skills, course cultural understanding, and etc. and many more. And the second one, we should consider select tasks and activities. So it is really important that we should select the tasks and activities for the material in the learning process. The criteria of the task selection will include intrinsic interest, the length of the material, the linguistic difficulty, the cognitive difficulty, the culture, the relevance to learners' experience, age, and maturity. And we move to the micro level process. In here we have two writers. Hatfield identifies 5 stages in the writing process. And the first stage is selecting activity type. After that, we should make the aim and the activity fit. The third stage is the initial design solution. And the fourth stage is writing the student's materials. And the fifth stage is refining the procedure or writing the rubrics. So she identifies the following sub-processes. Engage with dialoguing. It means that the writer tries to communicate themselves in designing the materials, and the writer should imagine the scenario. So it means that she tries to visualize how the learning activities will become in the classroom, and she will scope the materials and make a plan to the materials, and she will perform or trying the materials with the others to see if the material is successful perform or not. And she will do she will do writing, and it means that she will try to convey his or her idea into the paper and making the rubrics to analyze the the materials the material to analyze to giving feedback of the experiment that they do. So it is from Hatfield, and we have from Maley, and it includes 3 stages that we should consider: inputs, processes, and outcomes. So in here, a chart for generating activities. The first one is input. Inputs, it means it's come from the object of the class or the human resource in the class. It can be from people, and the topic or the topic of the text, the reference materials, the object of the class, the audio, the internet, games, and so on. And for the process, it is about the creative and the quality of the materials in the learning activities. It can be from the generic time, how the material is performed, and this the long time or in the long duration or short duration, and the type of the learning, and it is active learning, reflective learning, or interactive learning. sorry. So, and it is about the how teachers assessing the learners by individual or by pairs or by groups or by whole class project like that. And it is about the techniques of the learning activities and the test types and so on. And for the outcome, so when we design a material, we should have like what we want to achieve in the material in the materials development, what outcome, what the result that we want to get in the classroom from their from their students. So the material outcomes, it can be like student tests, visual displays, performance, and many more. Pedagogical outcomes, it seems like material outcomes, but it more like to evidence of learning, the test result, the feedback from the learners, and educational outcomes. So learners should be increase in social or intercultural awareness. Learners should provide critical thinking, and learners should be creative, problem solving, independence, knowledge management, and many more. So and the psychosocial outcomes. So in here, learners should be more like self-awareness, try to be more confidence. Learners should be more tolerance with other, should be more responsibility to the society. So the conclusion from the principles and procedures in materials development, there are a number of set principles which proposed by applied linguists and by the writers of the materials. It is involved with macro and micro level in the process. So, creating a language course is not only focusing on the sets of principles and procedures, but it also considered to the human creativity, their innovative and their imaginative on how to design the materials, so that the material will be more interest and engage the learners in the learning activities. And the material should be flexible to support the teacher and the students in teaching and learning activity. Well, that's all from my presentation. I hope this presentation will be helpful to you. It will help you in designing or in creating the materials, so that your material will become more interesting and engaging in the teaching and learning activities. That's all from me. Thank you for watching.